Hey, this ain't a drill. Only time I playing is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we bout to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. 716 make them pay with some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keon and Aramis. Talk about the Bills dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill when we talk about the Bills. Dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill.
What's going on? Welcome back to another live episode of the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I am your co-host, Aramis.
I forgot I can't slide it over on a late tip no more because I'm already here when I'm not. 40 keys with y'all.
Oh my gosh. Yo, I'm seeing something right now that I think is huge for you.
For me?
Yeah, it's so huge it made my voice crack just now.
I can retire from the airport?
No.
Damn it. Okay, that's all right.
Well, it's a weird way to start the show, but apparently Donald Trump has signed an executive order Friday designed to limit how long athletes can play college sports and how often they can transfer between schools. Look at that. You love it.
I mean, yeah, but I'm also laughing because I'm like, yo, of all the things right now, that's what you doing? You saying it? You say you overruling NILs right now? I'm paying video game prices for gas. You overruling? They got to play in college longer in order to pay for their gas tank.
That's probably true.
But yeah, right. No, I mean, I thought about this though, and I'm not gonna. That has nothing to do with the show, but off the cuff, my thought on the NILs, I actually thought about that. You actually could make nice little rules. Like, how about this one? When I played, you had to sit out a year if you transferred. So now you don't. You can just go right in and start. Mm-hmm. I think you should be allowed to transfer one time without sitting out a year, and then after that, you have to sit out a year, lose a year eligibility. And the only waiver you get is if the coach that you played for or originally recruited by leaves, and you go with him. You have to go to the school he go. You can't just go anywhere. He doesn't want you to come to his school, and you have to want to go to that school to keep your eligibility. Mm-hmm. I think that'd be a nice little way to mitigate the excessive transferring because I don't get what I want. It's fair. I think.
Yeah. No. I mean, I agree. I've never. It's weird. Like I don't really care about that part. The only part I really care about in college sports is the NIL stuff. I don't feel like college athletes that are dedicating as much time and energy as they are, to the sport to not be recognized for what they do or supported in a way that, fulfills their needs at that point in time. I'm not saying they should make millions, but they should be able to, have enough money to eat on a regular basis and not have to, fry up bologna sandwiches and stuff like that. Like, it doesn't need to be an exorbitant amount of money, but
see, that's the thing. They kill me with that. And I know where that came from. I've seen it firsthand. Mm-hmm. You get money, but what they don't do, they don't teach them how to manage their money.
Yes. That's
the problem. So people eating bologna sandwiches, people eating that. I don't get, yes, you do. But what happens every time, and anybody that ever lived on campus can tell me I'm wrong. You had a roommate. You had somebody on the floor who got pizzas every night. They got 2-liter pops every night, but you never saw them in the cafeteria. You never saw them utilizing the free food that comes to the room and board in your tuition. So everybody goes out to Pizza Hut. They go out to Domino's. Oh, snap, I got free money. Wait a minute. I can't. Why's my card not working anymore? Dumb. I used to make my teammates go to the cafeteria and eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner with me. Because we were already paying for it. We didn't have to pay it. I know they had little stations. Mm-hmm. It was nice. All you could eat. But these guys, they got you bologna sandwiches? Nah, that's because you don't know how to manage that. Okay. And see that what it is this. It's look at what happens when they leave the NFL, when they leave the NBA. These guys get one contract. Like, I'm broke. How? Your one contract was $3-4 million. Invest it. You don't live off of $4 million. See, what it is you don't go out and buy the Ferrari right away. You don't go out and buy the $3 million house and put your whole family up because you didn't make it yet.
Yeah, but who's in their life to, like? I'm not trying to feel sorry for these kids, but if I'm if I'm playing devil's advocate here, let's just from the other side of this conversation, there's the perspective of, okay, well, who's telling these kids in high school?
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, when I was there, I didn't think that much, because I'm like, okay, my dream car used to be a Range Rover. You tell me I'm getting a $4 million signing bonus, I'm gonna get my Range Rover, but I'm gonna put a quarter of it, a fifth of it somewhere and let it make me some money. Because if I get hurt, because we've all seen it, Ryan Shazier, we've seen, Hank Gathers, people like that never really got to do anything because their life or their career was cut short due to something they didn't expect. Mm-hmm. And I want to be able to say, I don't have to work for Spectrum. I don't have to work for American Airlines. I don't want to go and bag groceries like Elvin Thibodeau from the Cosby Show after the show was over, because they didn't need me anymore.
Right.
I got to insulate myself and maybe not live on $4 million a year, even though that's what I make. Maybe live on $800,000 a year and, put some away so that I can continue to do so. And if you find a business you really like, in my case, it would be food. Find yourself in a situation where you're a silent partner somewhere where you have some kind of residual. But see, that's the stuff they're not teaching these people. And a lot of the kids, they're not hearing it from their role models, their idols, or people like that. They go to the club, they go to Magic City, they doing this. I'm doing that. I grew up from nowhere, and now I got to go somewhere. You can go somewhere, but you got to think about your future. Life is a long time, and they tell you it's short, but life, it ain't short if you got to live it hard.
Johnny Jones says, yo, if I want to transfer 20 times, just let me be. Why is he worrying about athletes? He's saying the same thing you say. Like, this is nice, and I'm sure the colleges like really wanted this.
Yeah,
because it's with respect to the sport, it's good for the sport,
right?
But again, my gas is $4.50 a gallon.
Yeah, I just paid,
or it might be almost $5 now.
I just paid like $68 to fill my tank up. So
it's insane.
Yeah, I'm not with that.
Let's get that fixed first before we start worrying about college athletes.
Right?
Where they transferring.
Can you put the comments? I don't have a mouse.
My bad.
It's all good. Yeah.
Actually, you do. It's a new one. It's right there on your left.
Oh, this one here.
Yep. So.
Oh, look at me go.
All right.
Okay.
He's about to start going Super Mario on these boys. Real quick, Sam says, now how y'all gonna conflict with Rico, them boy?
I mean,
I'm not really sure what you mean, huh?
We love Rico.
Oh yeah, Rico's definitely a friend of the show for sure. I give Rico a lot of credit for helping us out when we were first starting. He had us on his draft show and all that, and we were kind of able to take off from there. So never any issues with Rico at all.
Solid guy. I mean, I think J-Ham asked a couple of shows ago, and I never addressed it. I didn't dodge you, but do I watch Buffalo Fanatics? I used to, but now I just don't have the time to really do so. Honestly, it's I have to watch like the 30 to 40 minute ones at best, or I can pop in real quick and pop out. But I try to get around, make the rounds to the ones I like. And Rico was definitely probably my first Bills podcast that I actually like really, really enjoyed. So if anybody asks, would I listen to it? Absolutely, the hell yes, but I just don't have the time to.
Yeah, for me, I think I try not to oversaturate my train of thought on what's going on with the Bills, which is a big part of the reason why I don't watch really anybody. To be quite honest, if somebody is somebody in our Discord chat post something or something like that, I'll check it out just to see what they're talking about. But I usually about I wake up about between 4 and 4:30 in the morning. I'm looking at all the news of the day, what came out from last night and all that kind of stuff. And I get the notifications throughout the day, but that's how I get all my information. I try to make sure that when I step into this space, I'm giving you as much authenticity and without the rehearsing aspect. Sure. You know what I'm saying? Sure. And I feel like if I watch, 14 podcasts before I come here, a lot of what I'm going to say is either going to be reflective of what they say or it's going to be rehearsed. You know what I'm saying? So I try not to do that.
Yo, Albert, pop that up. I like that. I really like that. I just thought the NIL should not be allowed to be touched until graduation. Make it a bond or trust and fund until graduation. When I played D1, food, housing, gas, medical provide. Exactly. They don't need it. Exactly. Albert, I'm telling you, that's exactly what I'm touching on. You can get around it, and they provide for you. But it's people that live above their means or have access to something they never had access to, and they want to get to it. So that, yes, 100%. I love that an interest bearing trust or a bond that they can get upon completion of college. So it's a twofold thing. They get education and they get something at the end of it. Perfect. I'm mad at Albert for not doing that myself.
ATL said $3.79 in Atlanta. Good Lord. Yo, can you just put some gas in a bottle and just ship it up here? Please? You probably get arrested for that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like I think the reservation is the only place that you can get gas the cheapest around here, and that even then it's like $4 bucks.
It's still gonna be cheap. Yeah, it's still gonna be expensive. So yeah.
Right. So I don't know.
Roll call.
Apparently, Roy does not like Buffalo Fanatics. Yeah, let's get to the roll call. Who we got in here?
We got. I know. We got Mafia Sports Report. We got Weston. We got Albert. We got Samtha, SDB, Slim Nady, Post Podium Podcast, Billy D, Code 45, Johnny Jones, Chris, Roy, Sinke.
ATL in the house.
ATL, Sharon.
And is that it? Everybody?
I think so. Laura. What up, Laura?
Gas just under $4 over there. What? It's like $4.90 where I live. Right there on what is it? The corner of Koenig and Niagara Falls Boulevard.
Oh yeah, no.
You don't go to that one?
No.
It's not even the hood. There's like a Tim Hortons right across the street from it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I ain't the hood, but they known for it, that the people at that hotel or that motel across the way.
Oh, so. That's why they jack it up like that. Oh, that makes sense. Which one you go to? I
go to Delta Sonic. I got the unlimited membership, so it actually pays dividends now. I forget to get my car washed when I get that gas. And funny story about that. Did I tell you what happened on Father's Day last year?
No.
Okay, so T's like, okay, it's Father's Day. We'll ride with you. I said, no, don't do that. She said, why? I said, you can't.
What?
Because from my house to the gas station is 4.8 miles. My dashboard's reading 5 miles on it to E.
So you can't add no weight to that bad boy.
No, because I need somebody to come get me if I don't make it.
Oh.
So I got to the corner of Niagara Falls Boulevard and Maple, and it only said 0. I was like, well, we're going to see what happens.
Yeah, you got to push it now.
It coasted in. It coasted, literally.
It cut off on you and just goes, wow. Right. Wow. You didn't have to push it at all. You just got, wow, bro.
That was God smiling on me.
For real.
But
Thank you. Lucky stars. $3.99 around the Capital District, $3.59 in Detroit. Some spots in LA is $7.50.
Yeah.
Good God.
Yeah.
Man, New York and LA, man. New York and LA sound like we got the highest prices right now.
Oh, Johnny, we don't have a Costco yet. It's coming, almost.
Yeah.
We got BJ's and Sam's, but I mean, Delta Sonic and actually Tops too. Our supermarket. If you get if you have the little card, I actually spent a lot of money at Tops, so I might end up with $1 off at Tops. So there you go.
Yeah. All right. So we started with that. What else have we heard so far, bro? What you got?
I got a lot. Let's see. Oh, before I get to the juicy, my man, he made me ask you this. Fans, you guys, my comrade over here, hope you're watching because this is going to go just the way you want it to. He wanted me to have you and the Post Podium Podcast family explain to me why we should get Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown. Yeah. He said, he called me Mr. Good Guy. All I want is good guys. The guy that wanted Vontaze Burfict more than anything in life. The guy that really liked Ndamukong Suh. The guy that liked Albert Hainsworth when he was doing his thing. The guy that explain to me where I'm on. He said, fam, stop being cheap and stop being goody-goody. If we could get him here on a minimum deal, I said, 1, he hates Buffalo. 2, he's never signing anywhere, especially Buffalo, for a minimum deal.
Thank you.
3, he ain't gonna make it. And I'm like, I said, oh snap, he's 38 too.
His birthday's July 10th.
Wow.
He's 37 right now.
Oh. All right. So please, can somebody in the chat, you explain to me why I'm wrong in this?
I don't think this is gonna go the way your boy thought it was gonna go.
I don't think so either. But he didn't want to listen to me. So
there are so many other receivers that you could get to that are retired right now before you even get to Antonio Brown that might stand a chance of actually helping the Bills.
What's Jerry Rice doing?
Well, I think he thinks that that's the comparison. Well, Jerry Rice played at 40. Well, Antonio Brown is not Jerry Rice, bro. Like we gotta tone it down when it comes to that. No. I just okay. I applaud thinking creatively, but
I didn't. I told him. He said I had to bring it. So I said, okay, I'll do it. Moving on. Kaiir Elam to the Chiefs. See, Brandon Beane now can say, I told y'all. We drafted him. They had Trent McDuffie. They let him go, and now they got our guy. I know how to draft. Boom, shakalaka. Take that, Key. Big baller Bean. Shay is on. Oh, the shades are gone. Oh well, I was gonna throw him on too. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if he's gonna make it. I don't know if I don't know what the intention of that is. He's a tools guy. You know, he's got the physical traits. He's got the I guess the studious persona about him, but outside of that, I don't know what to make of Kaiir Elam anymore. I mean, he's going to be a journeyman. He's probably going to hopefully play special teams at some point, and maybe he'll cut his teeth there. Maybe because he wasn't a bad guy. You know, I met him a couple of times. He was all right, but he just can't get it together on the field. Yeah. So what are we going to do with that now?
There are certain players that are so athletic that they can compensate for a lack of technical expertise with just pure athleticism, right? Kaiir Elam is one of those guys where, you know, in college, he could afford to get beat because he was fast enough, athletic enough to get himself back into the play, and he'd be fine. Y'all gonna hate me for this, but Maxwell Hairston is another one of those guys. If you really watch the way he played in college, he got beat a lot. But because he could recover as quick as he could, his acceleration is amazing. His agility is amazing. But all of that comes after the lack of either discipline or technical expertise being sound in his fundamentals. I hate that I'm sounding like Sean McDermott in all this, but the reason I'm bringing all this up is I think there are some examples throughout the recent history, and when I say recent history, the last 30 years, of examples of corners that were supremely athletic, but didn't really get to starter status until later in their careers. Why? Because their athleticism started to dwindle a little bit, and they had to become more dependent on discipline and fundamentals and technical expertise and all that kind of stuff just to survive training camps. So maybe it's going to be the same for Kaiir. Maybe Spags will find a way to turn it on for him and simplify the defense for him. Who knows? I don't know what kind of, you know, system they were running in Dallas, so I really can't say whether or not it was, you know, Elam or, you know, was it the defense or whatever. But I hope for his sake that he's able to turn it on somewhere to at least prove that he was worth Brandon Beane trading up 2 spots to select him in the first round, because if not, yet again, it's another notch on Brandon Beane's belt of a first-round pick that didn't work out the way we planned it.
Yeah. I mean, I think Maxwell Hairston is going to be the kind of guy in the Jim Leonard scheme that's going to fool a lot of people. I think he's going to get beat. I do. But I think he's going to make a hell of a lot of plays, too, because Jim Leonard's scheme dictates that you are aggressive to the ball. You know, and that's one thing Max Hairston is the back pedal to the explosive for. I think he's going to get a couple pick sixes in his career. I think he's going to one of those guys that just pops out of nowhere, and you never know. You might actually see a meme of his like we did with Trey White on Madden, where Max Hairston has some kind of signature thing he does, and I could see it. I don't know that he'll ever be a technician. I think he will rely on his speed a lot, which will shorten his career if he can't keep his speed up, or if he has, has some kind of injury with his leg that diminishes that. But I think Max Harrison is somebody that will find a home, if not in Buffalo after his career, after his rookie deal is done. He'll find it somewhere else. So I really think that we got something good there. Roy said, I'm not all the way there with Harrison, but I thought there was a better choice at that pick. Yes, there were. But yes. I didn't think about it. But yeah, and not to say Max Harrison was a reach, but we could have went at a different position at that pick as well. That's something we could have done. Had it been for Dorian Strong finishing the season, we might be sitting here talking about another Kyer Elam and Benford year, because Dorian Strong came out, started against Baltimore, and I mean, when I tell you, I was there and I watched him, I was like, I was wrong. This dude is all right. This dude's all right. Then he disappeared. Yeah. Like, what happened? I didn't see him get hurt, and this serious thing happens.
Right.
So that's a scary thing. That wasn't as weird as it sounded, it wasn't a contact injury, which is actually really scary.
Yep. Yep. He actually got his surgery recently.
Yeah.
Done on his neck. So, they got to let the swelling go down and see how the recovery and rehab goes and stuff like that, and then they'll have an idea from there what he can and can't do. But that's I wish him the best either way. But whether he stays or goes, I really hope his life is everything he makes it, man.
Yeah, Tommy, what's up, brother?
So Albert says a DB that can recover from their mistakes is more valuable than a technician. So plays you are supposed to bite on the double move. Guys that can recover are the elite. Maybe in college, but in the pros, the guys who understand the fundamentals and play to that strength and defend that strength usually do a lot better, right? If you look at Darrelle Revis's game, same deal. If you look at Stephon Gilmore's game, same deal. If you look at Patrick Surtain's game, even Derek Stingley, all four of those guys, two of those guys are now, two of those guys are in the past, but all four are widely regarded as, top two, top three corners in the NFL. And when you look at the way that they play, the reason that they're widely regarded the way that they are is because they don't get beat to have to recover. In fact, because they understand the fundamentals so well and they play so technically sound, they very rarely get beat. And that's a coach's dream. A coach does not want a player that gets beat and recovers quickly. In college, that's good enough because you can get away with a lot of that stuff in college. All of the athletes are not the same. In the NFL, everybody's amazing. So if everybody's amazing, what's going to separate all of the amazing athletes are going to be the guys that go the extra mile, the guys that understand the technical stuff, that understand the fundamentals, that understand proper footwork, proper leverage, and understand what coverage dictates or what the offensive play or offensive scheme dictates in their defense of it. So I would just be careful falling in love with guys that have supreme athleticism, because I'm actually one of those guys where I have a huge appreciation for guys that are big, fast, strong, and supremely athletic, right?
I'm the complete opposite. So like me touting up Max Harrison is weird, but you definitely are. You're like height, size, speed. I'm like, but what about, you're like, don't care. Speed. I'm like, he's a 4 or 5. Slow. Damn, dude.
Yeah. Roy says Will Johnson was the CB I was hoping for over Hairston. That's part of the reason right there. I mean, a guy like Will Johnson becomes the number one corner his first year because in college he was very technically sound. He would jump plays, but he wouldn't do it to a degree that took him out of the play completely. You know what I'm saying? You want to say, okay, well, Marvin Harrison got him a couple of times. Well, yeah, but he was right in Marvin Harrison's pocket. Those were just big physical plays in college. You know what I'm saying? Those are plays that big physical guys should make. And he did, right? But when you look at the span of Will Johnson's career in college, it wasn't I get beat or I fail to turn my hips quick enough or I fail to read the play, well enough and I get beat, but then I'm so fast that I can recover. Like Will Johnson is not a speed demon. He's got great speed, but he's a bigger physical corner. And because he understands what he is and because he understands what that next level is that's necessary to become an elite corner, he decided to focus on the fundamentals and the foundational things that dictate how the best corners in the NFL play. You know what I'm saying?
So evidently Stephon Gilmore retired.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't care.
I thought that was yesterday.
Maybe
I
it
think
was.
That was yesterday.
Okay.
But
even still, yeah, and I, me and Stephon Gilmore, we don't get along. No, I never met the guy, so it's not personal. I was never a fan of that pick. To the point, Roy, I wasn't worried about Will Johnson at that pick, but what I wanted Luther Burden really bad, really, really bad, really bad. And it really hurts now that we got the guy that was going to get cut for Luther Burden. Carson Schlesinger, the linebacker out of UCLA, who went to the Browns. Those are two guys I really wanted that we could have had. I mean, like I said, Max, cool,
right?
But these are guys, I'm like, yo, let me get it. And then when you talk about you traded up to 41 to right your wrongs there, and you get TJ Sanders over Alfred Collins, and I mean Alfred Collins could be that guy in the Jim Leonard defense that we're talking about. Okay, we got that edge now, that not edge, but that four eye.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask y'all this real quick.
Yeah.
Based on what you saw.
Go ahead.
And I really want to see y'all answers on this, okay? Based on what you saw, in preseason and the first 4 weeks of the regular season last year, do you think that Dorian Strong would have still been the starter if A, he had never gotten hurt, and B, Max Hairston was healthy?
If Max never got hurt?
If Max never got hurt, do you think Dorian Strong would have still been the starter ahead of, like, just basically another Christian Benford situation? Do you think that Max Hairston's game necessitated more development?
No. I think because Max Hairston was always above Dorian Strong on the depth chart. They were talking about Dorian Strong being the primary special teams guy, and then Hairston got hurt, and I don't remember who was in between them, but I only think Strong was number 3 at the time. But he's like ascended because Hairston got hurt. I think the guy behind him got hurt. Yeah. And then he catapulted in there because even the Baltimore game, they're like, well, he might start. We don't know.
Yeah.
And then we saw, oh, snap, 43's out there or whatever his number was. He's out there.
Well, they were probably trying to call and see if they could trade for Dane Jackson at the
time.
Oh, God. Couldn't do it. They're like, all right, well, we got to go with Dorian Strong.
Damn it. We got to put this guy out there. Right. Wish we had Dane Jackson right now. No, I think Max would have been the starter day one had he been here.
That's fair.
Actually, it was Trey White was here, wasn't he?
But he tweaked something too.
That's what I'm saying. He was the one that got hurt because it was Hairston, White, then Strong was down here somewhere.
Yeah,
and then they both got hurt. It's like Trey might play, might not. Strong, we don't know.
Yeah, they were teasing that.
Yeah, I'm like, ooh, could it be? Me and Mel were like, could it be?
Yeah,
it's Strong.
Okay, Albert is going off here. He says, can technique guy that run a 4.7 cover AJ Brown or Tyreek Hill? How would a slow tech guy cover a big body / speed or speed guy with agility and man coverage? Let me put it to you like this. Darrell, all 4 of the guys that I mentioned have gone against everybody that you could go against in the NFL by this point in their careers. I don't think there's a receiver in the league that they haven't faced, a number 1 receiver that they haven't faced. With that being said, you don't have to be a 4.3 guy to have great success in the NFL. Just look at Trey White. Trey White is what? He's a 4.4 guy?
4.4. Right?
Derek Stingley's a low 4.3 guy. No, I'm sorry. He's a high 4.3 guy. I think he ran like a 4.36, 4.37 or something like that. Yeah. And he's been extremely successful. Pat Surtain, I think, is a high 4.3, low 4.4 guy. So I'm when I talk about those guys, I'm talking about the guys that maybe are not the speed demon that Max Hairston is, but do play a lot of man coverage, are asked to take on, the best receiver on every team. And I'm not saying that Max Hairston can't develop into that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, at this current stage of his career, Max Hairston is a lot like Kaiir Elam in the sense that he's not technically sound yet. He's not developed in the fundamentals enough to trust him against every team's number one receiver. Now, can he recover when beat by the team's number one receiver? Yeah, he's fast enough to do it, but you don't want him in that position. Like we're talking about best case scenario now versus reality, right? Best case scenario is Max Hairston turns into Pat Surtain the second, right? He turns into the next top tier guy in the NFL within the next 2 to 3 years. The reality, though, is right now, Christian Benford is still your number one receiver, period. Mm-hmm. That's corner. The reality. I'm sorry, number one corner, right?
I'm like, we didn't do that, did we?
No.
We're that desperate. We're doing this now.
We're talking about Antonio Brown. We just might.
Yeah, we just might be desperate. I don't know. Albert said I agree that there's a cutoff. Oh, but there's a cutoff on how unathletic you can get to play the position, which is true.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think what we're running into, if we're to mitigate the argument here, you guys aren't really arguing, but the conversation you're having is we're looking at why McDermott ran the defense he ran.
Yes.
He ran that because he knew that Benford couldn't stay with.
Thank you.
Yep. And they drafted Max Hairston because they knew we played the Chiefs and we play Xavier Worthy every year. Mm-hmm. And there's only one guy that has a chance in hell to stand with him man for man, step for step. So, they said Worthy's not a technician, but he's fast as all get out.
Right.
Let's get this guy for him because we're going to see him every year. And he was emerging after his rookie year. Here, Worthy, that is, after his rookie year as a weapon, as a guy that they're looking for to make plays. So the Bills are saying, let's get ahead of this. Let's get somebody that we can call our own and a threat. But yeah, no, I think if you're looking at a zone defense where everybody's giving massive cushion, yeah, for sure. You can get a guy that's pretty slow and knows the game really well. But if you want to run the kind of defense that I think Jim Leonard wants to run, where you're doing a lot of simulations, a lot of single highs and things like that, where you don't have all the help in the world out there, you're going to want a guy that's a little. You don't have to have Max Hairston athleticism, but you're going to have to get a little more than that. SDB, I get Ocho Cinco in a moment just for his jokes. Just for his jokes.
That was from earlier in the show. Mm-hmm. I had to back it up a little bit because I did want to get to this other comment from Albert. I forgot about this one here. It says, did y'all see the Joe interview where they asked if you couldn't run practice, who would you want to take over? He said he wanted Knox and didn't want Dion. Dion, he says I think he means Dion, not getting that restructure, LOL.
Yeah, I mean, whatever it takes for him not to restructure him, I'm good with. I mean, I'm still scared. Yeah. Like I said, if they extend him, it sounds horrible. You're like, Key, are you on that work? No, it works better in our favor if you extend him. If you give him those 2 void years he already has, you give him an extra $3 million, you spread it out. It lowers your cap hit. He gets more money, and we don't have these massive dividends that pay to him in theory when he's not on the team anymore. So you're using him until he can't play anymore, in essence. He likes Buffalo, believe it or not. We'll get to that in a moment. And you still can fill a hole with a guy that can play in your system until the wheels fall off. So Tyler Grable or whoever they draft can't go. So for me, that's a win-win just to go ahead. I don't want to restructure because I don't want 4 years of Deion Dawkins on this team.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was going to get to that. I'll just get to that in a moment. I'm disappointed in all you guys. Well, not all of you, but most of you.
Why?
You know how many people I had to say, did you look at the calendar? 2 days ago. Did you look at the calendar? Myles Garrett's coming to Buffalo. Oh, Deion Dawkins getting traded. I'm like, did you look at the calendar? I'm like, what day is today? Stephon Diggs, my man texted me. He's like, Key, Stephon Diggs wasn't really. Listen,
we traded for and signed 4 different players in the same day with $12 million of cap space.
Right, and there are people that make way more than that in one game. So I'm like, did Schefter report it? Did anybody Orlovsky report it? Billy Dow, I wasn't gonna say nothing.
Hard, man.
Billy, he's like, Guilty. I wasn't gonna say no. No, you were not even close to the only one. But the thing is, I'm just laughing because the stuff that came out, and my man, what's it, my man? He was like, "But Deion report." I said, "What player you ever know report their own training if nobody else reported it?" You never seen it,
right?
Like, so this was all this is elaborate. This is Deion. He plays jokes. We know that. We know how he is. If you got fooled by Deion after his year 10 season, you deserve to be fooled.
Yeah.
But it's all in good fun. And
it's just confirmation bias is what it is.
Right. And the thing is, I hope people didn't like destroy him or his personal, because how some Buffalo fans get, you don't want to be here, set fire or whatever.
Right.
Like, you're playing a dangerous game, Deion. You don't know how people get. Ask Leotis McKelvin what happens. So, but yeah, I laughed at it. I got a good tickle out of it. Some people reaction were more interesting than others, but Billy D especially, he's one that like funnels me with a whole bunch of check this guy out, check that out. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna look at this guy, or I have notes already and I'll send them to him. But some people are dead set. It's reported. It's true. I'm like,
you sure about that?
I know. You sure about that?
You sure about that?
I ain't sure about that. I laughed. And I wrote, I thought bringing Jamar back was April Fool. I said, no, that actually was real. That was the 31st, something like that. So
same. I thought bringing DeMar back was April Fool's,
did you really?
Bro. I really did.
I knew it was.
I was like, that day I looked at the calendar. Oh, what day is it? Oh, hell. I got him. Yes.
He said that day I was like
mid-sip.
Got 31st. Damn it.
Yeah, it's real.
And it was funny because yesterday somebody sent me something. I forget who it was. It might have been Billy, but I don't know. Sent me something, and I was like, so I zoomed in and then look for the date. I said, that's from yesterday. So it's still the 1st of April. I said, okay, cool. That's from April. That was interesting.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed in people.
I don't know. The whole Deion thing, man, to be quite honest, I think what's funny about his situation is he's at an age where his personality and his funniness and all that kind of stuff really can't compensate for what he lacks on the field anymore. Yeah. And before, he could get away with that because he's the best lineman the Bills had at that point in time. He's not anymore. Spencer Brown is. And behind Spencer Brown, it's Saibo, and then after that, Connor McGovern. So I would say Deion is the 4th best lineman on the line right now.
Yeah, because we don't know who the 5th one is.
right. So, and when I say that, I'm not looking at it from a his whole career. I'm talking about as of right now, this instant, who's a better blocker on the line than he is. I think there's 3 guys ahead of him. For his skill and his talent level at age, what is he,
32?
Yeah, he's 32, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, with that being said, that I don't think that's disrespected Deion. He's been the Bills' best receiver for a decade, pretty much.
Yeah.
But he's getting old. It happens to everybody. Mm-hmm. At some point, there are other guys that step up on the team that get to a point where they're in their prime and you're already out of yours. It happens.
It's like LeBron said, he was in a golf cart, and he has no business saying this, and I still hate him to this day. But he said, man, you hit 41, you go to bed healthy, wake up questionable. Dude, you still got your shoulder at the rim. Shut the hell up.
Yeah,
I can't even think about jumping without tweaking something in my knee, whatever's left of my knee. And this man is doing this every day with his son. His son is throwing him oops on a 10-foot regulation hoop. I mean, shut the hell up.
Right.
You're a creature. I don't like watching you play. I'm looking at the camera like he's watching right now. I don't like watching you play at all, but I respect the hell out of your game.
I kid you not, bro. So I started doing the thing I told you about where after dinner I go walk for half an hour.
Yeah.
But I added on to that a quick 15 minute high intensity joint, and I don't think I've ever felt my lower back and hips be as stiff as they are right now. But I was doing planks, and then I was doing lower ab crunches at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to move my leg up, towards my waist. It's like, wait a second.
Hold.
You supposed to be going out a little bit further.
Right.
Like, why you can't
What?
why you can't spread a little bit? I know that's a little pause, my bad, but
It's all good.
I'll be 42 this year. Like, I'm looking at this body like, why you ain't doing what you supposed to be doing? What's going on?
Yeah. Sweat said you getting old.
Yeah, I'm
Stretch the hip
getting
flexors.
there.
Yeah. Billy said I'm feeling that way about Kobe. I mean, yeah, I guess. Cedric Granger said, "What do you think about SVPG?" This is a loaded question. How do I answer this? You're traded. No, I'm joking. I think honestly, well, you don't tell me, but I think if he can play guard, he could be a starter at guard because there's no competition at left guard. They brought in Corbett. They got Alec, but $3 million doesn't tell me anything. $3 million says absolutely zippo to me on a 1-year deal. SVPG, to me, was the most exciting pick that we had when we got him. I think I saw a guy that could move, a guy that was in a system where you see what James Cook brings to the table, so they're not stagnant. They're guys that can get to the second level, athletes, SEC player, big-ish player, you think 6'5" or 6'6", 295, 300 pounds around that area. But just a profile that he brought to the table, I think that it's a gross mismanagement of talent to have him sit on the bench.
I'll put it like this, and I think this is like the exclamation point on this whole issue surrounding SVPG. Name a player with a better pedigree drafted in the 5th round under Brandon Beane for this Buffalo Bills team. And then I might entertain the idea that SVPG should not be the starter either at center or guard, right? Because Connor McGovern can play guard too. So you don't absolutely necessarily need him at center.
Mm-hmm.
You could absolutely put, and I get it, McGovern wanted to play center. That's the reason why he didn't, stay in Dallas. Dallas knew he wanted to be a center, and they had him at guard. But if you don't give this man a chance to start, if you don't give him an opportunity to play in some real games, not just in relief of other guys when the game is already won, not just in week 18 when there's nothing on the line, let that man get in some real games and show that he can ball. If you don't do that, then you've wasted a 5th round pick on a guy that probably would get a chance somewhere else.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And coming from the college that he came from, being a starter on that offensive line for a team that could run the ball as well as they did that season, and really pretty much every year that he was there, they were running the ball like crazy.
Yeah.
So it's not like he cannot do the job. Even in the NFL, name a player drafted in the 5th round under Brandon Beane that has a better pedigree than SVPG, and then I might listen. Yeah. But even at that point, like, part of the reason I was excited about him coming here was, okay, we got a pipeline developing now, because here's a guy that was very different from some of the other draft picks that we had at that point in time, because we weren't getting guys from Georgia, Ohio State, and some of these other big time programs that were winning national championships. And here we got a guy from Georgia that's balling.
Right, the starting center from Georgia.
Right.
I think, wasn't that the year we were on Rico's show? Because I think I want to say I was like over the moon about it. Like, that was the one I couldn't stop talking about because I wanted that one. That one was, I was like, I gotta have it, and I know for a fact. Well, I can't say for a fact, but I'm pretty sure you weren't watching Little Old Us when we had 17 views. So, you didn't know us back then. But this was the move, and I remember being on Rico saying, "I can't wait to see him play." I thought he was going to be a starter right away. I really did. You couldn't have told me he wasn't going to be a starter right away. So I don't remember who we drafted outside of that pick in what was that, 2023, 2020? Where are we now?
When we got started.
When he started, no, when Vampire and Granger started, that was 23.
Let me see.
But yeah, let's see. We took. I just want to make sure this is the right one first before.
All right. So that was the 2024 draft.
2024. Okay, so good. I didn't have to go down that rabbit hole. Okay, let me see. Who do we have in that one? Let's look. Let's bring up the
draft class 2024.
Yeah.
We had
2024.
Okay, so sorry.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay, you got it too.
Yep.
Oh, Keon Coleman.
Yeah.
Cole Bishop. I like Cole Bishop. I shamelessly mocked him in like every mock draft I did. Dwayne Carter, I was not a fan of. Ray Davis, me and Rico were at odds because he was dissing my boy. Said Ray Davis going to take his spot.
Mm-hmm. This was actually, I mean, in the later rounds, this is one of the best drafts they had.
Yeah.
Daquan Hardy would have still been on the team if it wasn't for whatever the issue was with him and Sean.
Yeah. Travis Clayton, I'm still wondering what that's about. Tylen Grable, another guy that's sitting because Deion Dawkins won't leave. No, I'm joking. Javon Solomon, who is a rotational piece. Ufasio, who never played a snap for us in the regular season.
Ufasio would have fit this new defense really well.
Yeah, he would have been good in this defense. That really would have. But Van Pran Granger, yeah, he was the first of 3 fifth-round picks in 2024, 141 pick. Yeah, I mean, that one right there, in that whole draft, that was when I'm like, yeah. And I'm still waiting because if I have to watch someone go ball somewhere else, I'm going to be pissed.
Yep.
Pissed.
I wish there was a way to
wait. What?
Huh?
Why did Tommy say Aramis fight me?
What'd he say?
When he said fight me, what did you do? Oh man.
I told you, bro. I don't put my guns away, man. I don't put them away.
I think I gotta go shopping. So go ahead, call in Tommy. No, I'm joking. Yeah, Laura said VPG was my favorite pick. Yeah, that was. I would say between him and, in all honesty, Cole Bishop, because Cole Bishop I really wanted as well. So outside of those two in that draft, it was like, okay, whatever, that's fine. Then I look. Tylen Grable was probably the third favorite there. You loved Ufasio, Matt Lil Solomon. Nobody loved Dwayne. Okay, let me stop. Ray Davis, yeah. I mean, Daquan Hardy had to get talked into just to be all my hopes dashed after I figured out he could play. So yeah.
Real quick before we get to Nico, Albert says, "I'm sorry to bring up an old argument. It's not sitting well in his soul right now.
He's got to
flesh this thing out. I'm with you, bro. Sometimes you just got to get to the bottom of that thing. I understand it. I get it. So let's do it." He says, "I'm sorry to bring up an old argument, but if you're scared of a freak athlete because of his technique, isn't that the worst mentality to have as a coach? Not believing you can coach a player is bad." I agree with that. Being an NFL head coach or a coach in general in the NFL, you don't ever want to have the mentality of I don't want this player on my team because they're not coming in technically sound. I get that. What I think I'm saying is, for a team that has been consistently as close as they have been to getting to a Super Bowl, what you really can't afford to do at this time is continue to draft players that need time to develop. You haven't, if the Bills had drafted like this since 2018, then okay, because at that point, like you've wanted for almost a decade now, you've wanted the Bills to develop a pipeline. But in order to have a pipeline, you have to have several players in development so that when one wave of retirees or guys that are aging out leave, you've got the next wave that has already been developed over the last 2, maybe 3 years to step in and start. Yep. By the time those guys age out, you got another wave that's coming right behind them. That's the way it works in college. That's the way that it usually works with the better teams in the NFL that consistently make Super Bowls, right? So I think that's really where I'm coming from with that mentality. I'm not of the mindset that Hairston can't develop. I just don't think he was the right pick at that point in time for a team that really needs to be good right now. If you look at where the Bills are from the standpoint of Brandon Beane's higher in elevation, Joe Brady's higher in elevation, and every other coach that's on this team, they are here with the mindset that, we need to hit the ground running. Right. But more so for Beane, he needs to win now. Why? Because you just fired the only excuse you had left when it came to not being able to get to a Super Bowl. You fired Smiley, you fired Frazier, you fired Rick Dennison, Brian Daboll left, Chad Hall left. A lot of your other position coaches left and took lateral positions elsewhere. So there was no more excuse for why you couldn't get to a Super Bowl other than Sean McDermott. So now all that's left, if they don't get there this season, is Brandon Beane, and he can't have that. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Brandon Beane and the Buffalo Bills have 2 years to get to a Super Bowl. Jim Mona said it. I wholeheartedly agree with that. That's the reason why they're not so focused on being draft heavy this season. That's why they didn't care about giving up a second round pick. They are trying to build this team to win now. It's another part of the reason why they filled up all of the open positions that were on the team prior to free agency, because they need guys who can step in and make an impact now. They don't want to have to wait for a rookie to do that. Max Hairston is going to be in his second season. He's going to be expected to step up. He's probably going to, get that starting role just because of where he was drafted. But that doesn't necessarily mean he's ready for it. You get what I'm saying? I don't want this to turn into, I don't want, super uber athletic players because they're not technically sound. I just think in this particular situation, that's what we need in terms of, guys who are coming in, ready to play, as opposed to guys that have to develop while they're playing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I roll up said Hardy was feeling punched at the 3-yard line. Good luck to him. I honestly, and I really believe this. He was a punt returner in college. Kick returner in college. The college rule is if you fair catch the ball inside the 20, you get the ball at the 20-yard line. This was in preseason of his first year here. Old habits die hard. That in college would have been the thing to do. Fair catch it right there, get the ball at the 20. Do you cut a guy for that? Was that the highlight of his career? No. He showed you he could return the ball. That's why they let him do it again and previous. So, I don't think it's fair to damn a rookie. See, that's the thing. The Bills use those excuses like that to sit you behind somebody that they bring in, Derek Forrest or Ari Ogunjobi, and they market him as, we got this veteran leader in the locker room, this guy who's been there before. I don't need the guy. I want the guy that's going to make mistakes, but on the other side, make the dynamic play.
Yep.
And that's what Bills fans, that's where I'm urging Bills fans to lean towards. Yeah, I know we got Josh now. Yeah, I know he's 30. I know he's a dad now. I know that we're aging. We're running out of time, but you can't allow all these young talent guys to come in and just sit until you really need them and realize we really don't have anything in this guy.
Well, that. I was with you right until you said that. I think that's why, and not that I'm against your point, because if we weren't in this 2-year window, I would absolutely agree, and I agreed before we got to this point. But I think because of where the Bills are now, they can't afford that. They can't afford to invest heavily in young guys. They're gonna draft the guys that they like at the positions that they like this year. But I think this is probably gonna be one of those, very bland. We'll just select where we're at. We're not gonna move around too much. We may even trade back to get more picks for next season so that we can load up, because we're gonna have more positions open next season for guys that are just falling off on 1-year contracts, or their contracts are expiring that we haven't extended, or whatever the case may be. I think they're going into next season with like 44 players that are under contract. And
that's the thing. You got the mitigation factor is they can't afford to buy up the talent that they used to in order to fill those holes. So they have to get, the better younger players. You don't have to be rookies. You don't have to be 1 year, first year guys, but you can't just go ahead and sign names, or as they say, known commodities.
But if you're Bean and you only have 2 years, what are you doing?
I'm not signing Larry Ogunjobi to $10 million.
Well, you can't. Okay,
but see, the reason why I'm saying that is I can say that because this is why. The thought process between the 2 years is signing guys that have been there and done that. You can't just sign guys that have been there and done it because they've been there and done that. Larry Ogunjobi is the embodiment of he's never been good. He's never been good. Like, when was he a Pro Bowler? When was he an All-Pro? When was he a captain? When was he the guy that people on the other opposing teams were worried about? He was a piece in Pittsburgh that 1 year. Or was it in Cincinnati? He was a piece, but he was never the guy. He wasn't Aaron Donald.
Right.
But instead, you turn around and give him $10 million. See, Michael Hoyt, okay, $7 million over 3 years. You can get away with that, being a leader that's been there and done that. You're throwing Joey Bosa $12, $13 million, and he hasn't even finished the whole year in 4 years. previous to this year, he hadn't played more than, what do we see? 10 games, something like that. We gave him $13 million. We didn't have the money. So instead of doing that, you got to trust in your scouting staff. You got to trust in your pro personnel director to say, you know what? There's a guy over here we can get that actually can play. He might not be the name that's Joey Bosa, but we can on the back end get you somebody that can play the positions you need. And so,
well, that's what they think they did this season,
and they did it wrong. but no, and that's then. And see, I know what you're saying with the 2-year window, but they've painted themselves into a corner where they have to now do the things that they didn't want to do, and what doesn't really coincide with a 2-year window. If you will, they're signing people that they have to force on the field. They're probably not the best people they could get because they did other things before. We're paying Oguntobi this year. We're paying Bosa this year, next year.
Well, okay. So aside from SVPG, who else have the Bills signed where they have a better player already on the roster? Who else have they signed at a position where they already
so drafting, when they draft, who have they had that's better than you?
No. What I'm saying is currently on the roster right now, the 2 safeties they signed, the nickel corner that they signed, the offensive lineman that they signed, like of all of those players, aside from SVPG being one of those players that were already on the roster and should have gotten an opportunity to start, what other players on the roster should have gotten an opportunity to start with SVPG?
Damar Hamlin. SDB. He said it. No. Well, it's funny you said nickel. We paying $9 million to nickel that we just traded. And I mean, but that goes into my thing. You made bad decisions that led us to this point. They made decisions that led us to this point.
Okay. I think it comes down to this too, because I think this is where you're going, right? Albert says, okay, I see a disconnect. You guys believe we can still win a Super Bowl or at least fight for one. I'm ready for the rebuild with all the dead cap. And I think that's where you have been for a while now, is you've damaged the salary cap so bad that you need to let it die so that you can start anew. You need to just start drafting and get younger. You need to overhaul the roster year by year by year and redevelop your pipeline so that you're operating in a way that's conducive to keeping the team, funneling itself, supplying itself with good young players year in and year out. Right. I get that. But what I'm saying is wanting that to happen is far and away from what the reality is right now. Right. Everything that I've been saying about the position of the team right now is what it is. We can't change that. And I don't think it's a bad thing to talk about how it should be. But if we're trying to be as accurate as we can possibly be, we have to go by what's existing right now. And what's existing right now is a GM that's trying to save his job by hiring players from free agency as opposed to depending on the draft. I'm with you from the standpoint of I really wish they wouldn't have signed anybody in free agency. Just focus on moving up in the draft if you can. Whatever ammo you need to move up in the draft, use some of those players that you traded away to free up cap space towards draft picks. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I was going to ask you that. Or I mean, my thing is also this. You seem like you're late to the party. Not you, but we're lauding Austin Corbett. We're lauding Lloyd Cushenberry. We're lauding Geno Stone. We're lauding, and were those the best players available? And if they were, congratulations. But if they weren't, why couldn't you get better? And that's the crux of my whole thought process. Why couldn't you get better?
Well, okay. Would you accept if I told you that the reason they didn't get better players was because they felt that the players that were, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think what you're saying is if there's better players available in the draft, why didn't you just wait and get them?
Not the draft. I'm saying in free agency.
Well, those players cost too much.
Exactly. That's my point.
There's nothing they can do about that now.
I know, but that's what they always say. Foresight. They always preach foresight. Oh, we're looking at the future because we got to do this because of the future. You screwed it up.
Right, I get it. But
so
what are they going to do about it
I don't care. That's for them to figure out. They did this because they told us they did the horse and pony show. They told us they had it under control, and now we're talking about this again. Again, you fired McDermott, you fired Frazier, you fired Smiley, you got rid of Hall, you got rid of this person, and guess what? The two guys one of the three guys that was in charge of this whole deal the whole time is still sitting there giving you the same conversation, giving you the same sound bites, and people still believe it because he knows what he's doing. I'm tired of that. And that really blows my mind. More than any player, more than Hamlin, more than Keon, more than anybody else. There's one reason why these people were even here in the first place. And it's the guy it's not McDermott. He had a part in it, sure. Mm-hmm. But he ain't here no more. We still doing DeMar Hamlin. We got Joe Brady. We didn't do much that we haven't had already. What is so different?
But what do you want them to do about that now, though?
The same thing I want him to do when McDermott packed his bags. What should have happened? Bean should have packed his little bean duffel bag as well.
Okay.
Because this is the point. As long as, and I'm going to sound like you when we first started the show, as long as we have this guy, and I do not believe he's going to lose his job. I think he'll have to be forced to get another GM, but I do not believe he's in any danger of losing his standing in Buffalo. But I'm tired of this kicked in the door, and we have a championship roster. We got to do this. We just had that. I'm tired of it, bro. I'm sick and tired of what do we do now? Because there's nothing you can do now because all you're doing is you screwed it up already. Because by your motto, by your philosophy, we're trying to be competitive now while staying competitive in the future. And that means what? Keep Josh Allen healthy because I ain't doing a damn thing else. What have they done? You heard what they said at the owners' meeting. Did you hear about the owners' meeting? How everybody laughed at us for trading for DJ Moore when he was going to get cut anyway?
Yeah.
And they gave him a second round for him? Ha! They still need this, and a third in the wide receiver room. That's what they say. DJ Moore might be great. He might be great. But I don't care because the second round draft pick was the most important draft pick this year. More important than the first round draft pick. More important. And you traded that away. They knew that was an important draft pick. But we're still doing the same. I was about to curse. We're still doing the same thing. Yeah. Yep.
All right, Nico, I'm gonna have to send you a couple of bucks just for being so patient, bro.
Oh, damn it! I'm sorry.
This is stuff we needed to get off our chest. Albert got it off his chest. We all got it off ours. Oh my gosh, Nico,
what's up, guy? I love it. I was like cricket. Hey guys, I'm here.
Oh, sorry.
I was like,
this messages in the private chat.
I know. Oh man, I was, I got lost in your guys' conversation. I forgot what I was going to ask.
Hey, just talk. You're the third host right now. It's all good.
So
okay.
Go ahead. If you,
I remember before I forget. Yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you, Artemis, because this Artemis. I don't know why I call you Artemis. Aramis. You were talking about develop. I think that I know what Keith wants to do. Develop. We should have developed, for the the batch and the waves and stuff like that. But I think that ship has sailed already, just like you said, because we should have done that a long time ago.
Yeah.
But now because we're in the win now mode in the 2-year plan that Bean has, he's gotta bring in winning players now, people who can be productive now. We can't sit there and wait for our third round pick this year to give us something. If he does, I'll we'll take it. If he actually hits, gets a diamond in the rough in this year's draft, oh heck yeah, we'll take it. That's a cherry on top. But because we're in the win mode now, like you said, it's going to be hard to develop these players and expect them to come in and be championship caliber ready players, especially in the third and fourth rounders. I mean, we're not. Sure. You can find a Puka, but how hard is that? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I was with you, and I know that Keys wanted the whole development stuff, and I'm with you with that too. But I think that ship has sailed for now, just because of what we are in now. and it is what it is. He's got a hit in the draft. He's got to. I mean, but like you said, he's probably just gonna go through the motions, and whoever's available at that time, he'll just pick it up and say, okay, we picked up a guy, a defensive guy, whatever, and then just let's move on. But we just got to roll with the cats that we have on right now. Then they have been in the system now, and hopefully we can get something and stuff. But yeah, I'm with you with that, man. I think that ship has sold because of the 2-year window you talked about. I mean, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
I will say I wish I believed you guys. I really do. It's not that you're saying something that's dumb, but I just don't see Brendan being in any danger unless he does something on the other side. That's where I think.
Oh, so you think he's going to have the job for as long as he wants it?
I think he'll be in Buffalo whether he's a GM or not. I don't think. I mean, he got promoted, and technically he shouldn't be a GM anymore. Not because he's okay. I'll say it this way, just because. Not because he's a bad GM, but because they promoted him. Okay. That's like me being. How can I say? It's like me working in a call center. And I'm on the phones and I'm taking phone calls. Now you're a supervisor, but I'm still taking phone calls. Yeah. And I'm doing that. They're going to take me off of that and make me this. So I think if he gets promoted, he shouldn't have his hands on the GM spot anymore. But he's keeping both. It's kind of McDermott-ish, don't you think? But I don't think that he's in any danger of being exited from the Bills organization. If his ulterior motive, if he wants to be a GM, if that's his dream thing, then he might lose that. That's where I am with that.
So what it sounds like I'm trying to make sure that this fits what you're saying, because there's a such thing called the Peter Principle, which states that in a hierarchy, every employee tends to rise to their level of incompetence, right? And I think with where Brandon Beane is now, being the GM and showing through his performance that he can operate a lot like Sean McDermott at a maybe slightly above average level, but he won't be good enough to get you to multiple Super Bowls like the guy in Philly or the guy in Kansas City or the guy, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like he's just, he hasn't shown a tendency or even a capability to consistently find players as good as James Cook. We can just go with they don't have to be Josh Allen's level, but can they be James Cook's level, right? And I don't think we have 5 James Cooks on the team, right? So do you think so basically what you're saying is he won't ever rise to a level of incompetence. He'll just have the job for what reason?
He's not incompetent at all. That's the thing. He's not incompetent. This is where I am, and I think Irolo said it. That could be why he was promoted. They're letting him know, hey, we want you in the building, but not picking our players. He could lose the GM role, but still run the team. Yeah, that's exactly where I am with it. I don't want to be on a Bean Island, Tommy. Trust me.
Yeah, nobody over here is going to beat Island.
No, but Keith, can I push back and say, weren't we thinking the same thing about Brandon McDermott? Wasn't everybody thinking he was on the Tomlin plan?
No. Well,
there were a lot of people.
But there's a lot of people say, "Oh, he can't. They won't fire him. He gets along great with the owner. He does this. He does that. I think he's on the Tomlin plan." Okay, everybody was saying that, bro.
This is my pushback on your pushback. McDermott never got elevated out of the position that we're talking about him in. We're talking about Sean McDermott as the head coach. He never got another position. He was always a head coach. Brandon Beane, we either love him or hate him as a GM, and now he's not really the GM. He doesn't have to be a GM. He wants to stay as a GM. He's actually been elevated to a different department, if you will, overseeing the GM in a job of which I think he can't do very well.
Well, okay, so
I think executive. Didn't he get the Executive of the Year award? I think he did.
I don't
in Carolina?
No, I think he got something.
He was an assistant in Carolina. I don't think he's ever won it. He might have been like high in the running.
Yeah, I think he can run a team, the day-to-day aspects, but I don't think he's a GM.
So I'll put it like this. I think the similarities between Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott is this. Sean McDermott is what? The coach who broke the drought, quote unquote, right? So that was a significant moment in Bill's history that he achieved something that we see as a great thing, right? He was the head coach of a team that, after 17 years of missing the playoffs, helped us get to one, right? You can say it that way, and I'll be at peace with it, right? I won't say he got us there, but he was part of helping the team get there, right? Now, the significance with Brandon Beane is this is the second time in the entire history that I've been watching the NFL where a guy was promoted from one position where
yeah, there it is. 2020, Beane got Executive of the Year.
Okay, thank you, Roy. This is only the second time in history that I've seen a player get elevated to a front office. That I've seen somebody get elevated to a front office position that they had never served in before, right? Because remember, who was the head coach? Who's the quarterback whisperer? Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians was the head coach of the Buccaneers, and he got elevated to a front office position because Tom Brady didn't really get along with him that well, right? So I don't think people are looking at either move and saying, yeah, I'm super glad that they did that. But from the standpoint of where you stand on Brandon Beane's performance, I don't think it's possible for a guy to just be thought of as keeping his job forever because of the promotion, especially when the guy who just got fired in Sean McDermott was, and Nico's right, Sean McDermott was widely regarded as a guy that wasn't going to get fired. He broke the drought. He's going to be here forever. He's got a better winning record than Marv Levy. He's the best coach in Bill's history, but based on the numbers, blah, 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 blah.
I mean,
right?
we even said that. But I said we even said that. But I think the point in all this that we're missing, I don't think Beane is incompetent. I just don't think he's a GM. And now if he was still a GM, yeah, I think he'd be done. I think this would be over for him. But I think now that he got elevated to other responsibilities, I think he'll be fine there.
Yeah, but okay, so is it not still a step down for him if he's relieved of general manager duties and stays on as president of football operations?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what his motivations are, because he wasn't a GM per se before. He was more an executive kind of guy.
I'm not asking you to get inside his head. What I'm asking.
No, I don't know, because player, what is it? President of football operations seems higher than GM.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he might have, he might in 2 years, he might hire somebody from the outside to take the GM job, and he'll step back into the shadows.
But he's still going to be in Buffalo, is what I'm saying. He's not going to get fired from Buffalo in 2 years.
So the reason I say it's a step back is he won't have as much of a direct impact on the team as he has the whole first half of his career.
Right. But what I'm saying is, I'm not even worried about none of that. I'm talking about either is he going to be in Buffalo or not? Is he going to still be a Buffalo Bills employee or not?
Well, okay. So here's where politics plays into this too, because a big part of the reason why Sean McDermott got fired was what is it called? Inter-office politics. They had endured everything that they endured with the culture that he provided within that building for 8-9 years, right? And they finally decided that enough was enough. Now, if you end up with a better culture but the same exact result 2 years in a row, and your quarterback is now 31 years old, and most of your roster by the time we get to 2027, I think they only have like 20 players under contract, if that, right? So by the time you get to 2027, you haven't accomplished what you set out to accomplish by firing Sean McDermott. I think inter-office politics, I think pressure from media, I think pressure from fans really would push the narrative on firing Brandon Beane. I think and the reason I say that is this. Last year in 2024 or 2025, it was me, Nick Wright, Chris Broussard, and maybe I think one or two other people in national media that were saying Sean McDermott could be fired if he does not get to and or win a Super Bowl this coming season. Right? And I started to falter on that when we looked at the schedule and how easy it was, and looked at the 4-0 start and all that kind of stuff. I started to say, okay, well, maybe he can do it. Maybe he can get there. But ultimately, what happened? We got to the end of the season. We found out that it was pretty much kind of decided before the season that if he didn't get there at the end of the season, that Pegula knew in his mind that it's probably going to be Sean getting fired. And he got fired, right? Like, I was surprised by it.
Oh yeah,
I think what made it worse, Aramis, is that there was no Chiefs.
Yes.
I think that just took it to another level.
Yep.
When they say, because you said he had it in his mind already to fire him. If he didn't, what made it just like, okay, this is like the stamp of approval is that there was no Chiefs and there was no Ravens in their way. I think, and that's just made it worse.
Yeah.
So,
what you got, Nico? What's up? What's this one?
oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Okay.
I'm not rushing. I'm just saying.
Okay. Now that we got that out of the way, and then you were wrong, Keys. Okay.
That was nice. I like that.
All right. Here's a question. Regarding Kyer Elam.
Uh-huh.
Somebody, one of the Chiefs podcasts, and I know one on a short on YouTube was talking about how he played in Florida. He played zone. Played man, press man, all through college, and that's what he was known for. He was scouted as that and this and that. And when he came into McDermott's system, it was fully 90% zone. Dallas, it was 90% zone. Do you think that plays a big factor why he was not good, or is somebody who either you're a good CB that can play both types of defenses, or you're just limited to one, and no matter how you try to play the other type of defense, it's not going to work out with you, and it's going to give you a bad look?
Well, if it was 90% man and 10% zone, he would have been fine. But now, was year 5?
Yeah.
6? Yeah, year 5. So, the damage is done. When he came into the league, everybody who knew anything about anything knew that he was a developmental player. He was a player with a lot of traits that need a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
He was Keon Coleman level, maybe even more so.
Yeah.
Needed a lot of work, and everybody knew that. If you look at all the scouting reports, you look at all the highlights, all the video, all the lowlights, whatever you can find on Kyer Elam, you'll see he wasn't that good. What they did was they fell in love with the notebook, they fell in love with the size, they fell in love with the speed, they fell in love with the SEC. But there was nothing about Kyer Elam to the trained eye that said this guy is a first-round draft pick. He was another instance of E.J. Manuel almost, where one team falls in love with you for whatever reason. If that team wouldn't have fell in love with him, he probably would have slid to this mid-second round. Now, could the Bills have gotten him in the second round still? Sure, but it would have looked a lot better to say, it didn't work out and we picked somebody else in the first round. And then Kyer Elam just doesn't pan out at pick 50 or 46 or wherever you want to go with it.
Okay. Oh, that's good. I just wondered. It was just curious to me that type of player who can only play one type of scheme instead of being versatile and play two types of schemes. Because he was talking about how the Chiefs play all man, so he should be able to flourish, especially with Spagnolio's defense. He should be able to flourish. But like I said, if he's not good and he's his 5th year and it's been his 3rd team, I think there's more to it than him playing the wrong type of defense. Maybe he's just not that good.
I look at it as this: if he would have been, if he would have gotten to his own scheme in year 2 or so, he would probably have a better career. But at this point in time, he's played out of position, if you will, for 5 years, and it's going to be hard to unlearn and learn how to play the way you used to play at that level. You go into the NFL and you're trained to learn zone concept. You're trained to do zone a certain way, and then now we're gonna flip back to the way I played 7 years ago. It's gonna be a learning curve again. So by the time he catches up, it's too far going to me.
Oh, okay, cool. Another thing, segueing to the Deion Dawkins things. My point before I forget, I think he's just like he's preparing for after the NFL. The way he's out there promoting himself with these shows and with all these stuff that he does, outside of the NFL, prime example, Shaq. The way he is, his personality, he when he was playing, he was doing stuff outside of the NBA, whether it was rapping, making movies. He was living in LA, so he had to market himself and setting up a stage. So when after he retires, he's got something to fall back on, and he's got all those things lined up. I think Dion is trending in that direction where he can market himself right now as much as he can. So when he does leave the NFL, he has something he can go on to, whether it's a podcast, TV show, analyst, or whatever. He can be that showman that everybody loves, like a Shaq, and be on all the commercials and promote himself and do something. So regarding, and it's all about, like marketing himself. In other words, that's the way I see him. Get into the wrestling business, become a wrestler. I don't know. I'm just saying. I think that's what the way people should just look at him when he comes out and starts saying stuff on people's podcasts and stuff, and like not take it to the art. It's just he's just promoting himself. That's all.
Yeah, I think for that, the best way, I've always said it. I told my son this. I tell anybody that gets too invested in anybody, a celebrity of any sort. You don't know how they really are. You don't know what they're really about. You know what they want you to know. So to get invested in their personal lives and all that stuff, it's just going to drive you nuts. What do they do between the lines? What do they do when the cameras are on? What do they do when they're forward facing? Are they good at what they do? Yes, cool. No, time to move on. I'm not gonna give you, grace for your dog dying or something. I don't care. The same way you don't care about my dog dying. It's just what it is.
I care.
We're watching you to do a job.
I would care if your dog died.
I would care. I would care, Keith.
But yeah, you know what I mean. It's a lot of things are like, when it came to this guy said that on a podcast. This guy said this on X. What did it mean? Now I'm insulted because, and some people, Stephon Diggs, will use it to our advantage. It's a game to some of them, but then your emotions get screwed up for no reason when they're just toying with you. We're a Bills nuts. We love the Bills as a team, a collective. The players on the team just make up the engine that we watch every Sunday, Monday, Thursday. Now, if you're watching the Bills for a certain player, you're going to have emotional attachments to them, and you're not going to be able to let it go. And they're going to do things, and you'll get emotional. You'll have reactions that a lot of us won't. Not you per se, but people that watch one particular person. Like you swear, Key loves James Cook. If he leaves Buffalo, Key's done. No, I'm not done. I'll be upset, but I move on. The same way I moved on when Eric Moles retired. Same way I moved on when they traded Stephon Diggs. The same way when Mario Williams left. I move on. I'm still here, better than ever. And a lot of people just can't come to grips with that. And you'll know who I'm talking about, and nobody in particular, but the type I'm referencing.
Yeah.
Is that all you had, Nico?
Yeah, so that is it, guys. Thank you again for the show. It's nice seeing you. See you guys next week, and same bet channel, same bet time.
Talk to you on Monday.
All right, man. See you guys later, man.
All right, brother. So yeah, so okay, so let's get to your deal here, because I thought we were gonna do it at 6:45 at least, but let's get to your topic du jour.
Before we get to that,
okay.
I just
we're not gonna get to the topic du jour, are we?
We might. So Tommy's at it again, and I know he's going back and forth with Steve, but I don't understand. I don't understand how folks can arrive at certain points that don't line up scientifically. Like I'm a believer in making scientific statements. And when I say scientific, I mean you can only speak to what has been proven fact. You can only speak to what's been documented. You can only speak to what currently exists within the reality space that we are in. Not what you think is going to happen, not what you hope is going to happen, none of that, right? But Tommy says, funny, we acting like all these other GMs winning Super Bowls. People do realize a lot of things need to go right in a season to win a Super Bowl. To that point, and Tommy, you did say you want to fight, so you asked for this. How is it that there are multiple teams since the beginning of the Super Bowl era that win back-to-back Super Bowls, that win 3 out of 4 Super Bowls, that get to 5 out of the Patriots got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the span of what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm sorry. In the span of 15, 20 years, something like that. So from 2018 all the way back to, 15 years. Or no, I'm sorry. No. That was right. So 17 years from 2001 to 2018, they got 6 Super Bowls. They won 3 out of 4 from 2001 to 2004. They won back-to-back 2013, 2014. They won 2 out of 3, 2016 to 2018. The Chiefs won 3 out of 5, 2019 to 2023. The Eagles won twice in the last decade, 2017, 2024. The Giants won twice, 2007, 2011. That's all within a 5-year period. The Broncos 97, 98. I mean, before that, like if you just go back to what is it, 1966, Packers won it twice in a row. Dolphins 72 and 73, Steelers 74, 75, Steelers 78, 79. Like they're all over the place. 49ers 88, 89. Cowboys 92, 93 and 95. Like it's not a coincidence that these teams are figuring out how to do it multiple times within a short period of time. The Patriots are the only team to have spread their Super Bowl wins out over a 16-year period, 17-year period. They're the only team to do that. Most of, if not all of these other teams.
And we're not talking about 2.
Huh?
We're not talking about 2.
2.
When you say when you say spread, that sounds like a span of time where you won 2 or 3. We're talking about a dynasty.
6.
I know.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. That like in 17 years they won almost half of them. So yeah. And they were in the Super Bowl, so they didn't.
That's what I'm saying. Like a lot of these they were in and just didn't win. Like 2007 and 2011, they were in those, and that's after they went 3 or 4. So from 2004 to 2007, they weren't in one, right? Because the Colts had to beat them to get there, and the Steelers had to beat them to get there, right? But 2007 they were in that one. 2011 they were in that one. The next Super Bowl they won was 3 years later. They figured it out 3 years later.
Yeah.
And got back and won another one. Yeah. So the point of, this mindset that it takes so much to win a Super Bowl and everything has to go right and the stars have to align. History doesn't show that.
And the funny thing is that maybe it's not just us because I don't listen to the team, but what I used to really hate what McDermott said, what Bean said, what anybody said, Josh Allen said, it's hard to win in the NFL.
Then how do all these good teams continue?
But that's what I'm saying. There's a mentality that I can't stand.
Right.
It's like,
oh boy.
I mean, I don't want Josh Allen to come and say, man, I'm toying with these fools, man. I don't want him to say that. You are, but James, man, they can't run with me. Stuff like that. But at the same time, it's hard to win in this league. Well, you just won. What do you want us to do? Give you double credit? No, you won.
The teams, and Tommy, to answer your question, okay, so you're talking about teams winning multiple. Either one. What about the other teams? Listen, the other teams that won. Okay, I'll put it like this. The Saints are the only team in this entire history of Super Bowls that has not won multiple after winning one. I'll say it again. The Saints are the only team in the Super Bowl era that have never won a second Super Bowl or more after winning one. Green Bay has, and the Jets. I got to say that. So the Jets and the Saints are the only 2 teams that have never won a second Super Bowl or more after winning one. Other than that, you got the Giants, the Cowboys, the Raiders, the Chiefs, the Colts, the Dolphins have 2, the Bucks even have 2, and the Rams have 2. So, and the Washington Commanders, 49ers, like all of these teams that are on here, you could put on a list of 10. So you got Packers, Packers, Chiefs, Colts, Cowboys, Dolphins, Steelers, Raiders, Commanders, 49ers, the Bears. The Bears didn't win a second. Oh no, they lost to the Colts. Okay, so add the Bears to that list of 3 teams. After the Bears, you have Broncos. That's 10. Rams, Ravens, Eagles, and Patriots. So 14 teams. 14 teams outside of 14 teams have all won multiple Super Bowls. The Jets, the Bears, and the Saints are the only teams in the Super Bowl era since 1966 that have won a Super Bowl but never won more than one never won more than one. Every other team has won one and won another one at some point. They've figured it out. 14 teams have controlled the history of the Super Bowl era. If you really think about it. Like, I don't think that's a mistake. History would tell you that more times than not, out of what is it? Out of 17 teams, 14 of them figured out how to do it multiple times. That's not a mistake. That has to be the rule. That's the majority. By scientific standards, by the scientific method, that has to be considered the majority. That has to be considered the standard. It's happened way more times than it hasn't. So by that definition, your mindset of, well, it's hard to, to get to one and win one. Well, there's only 3 teams in the history of the Super Bowl era that have only gotten to one and never gotten to another. Everybody else just hasn't even gotten to one.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not a mistake. There's 14 teams that know how to do it and have found out how to keep every other team from doing it. Folks, there's 32 teams in the NFL. What does that mean? That means 14 of these NFL franchises have figured something out in their era of whenever they were winning. And what we need to do is figure out what those teams did and try to incorporate some of how either how they got their talent, how they got their coaches, or how they got their position coaches, or how they built their locker room, or whatever. There's a standard that exists already in this era. The Chiefs and the Eagles. Those are the standards. They've won multiple, both of them in the last decade. Go look at what they did. Patriots won 2 in the last decade. Go look at what they did. Figure out the gap. It's not rocket science. There's plenty of examples throughout history if you really look for it. What it really boils down to is Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane thought that they were smarter than everybody. They thought for a while when they first got hired here that they were smarter than Bill Belichick. They never beat him. They thought they were smarter than Kansas City. They slowed him down, but crunch time, 4th and 5, you couldn't beat him. Okay.
Keon
Coleman.
All right, I want to know about this. What was your thought process between you had a thumbnail?
So I think based off of what I saw, that Keon is going to break out this season.
Was it because of what Joe Brady said?
What did Joe Brady say?
Well, I did like Joe Brady said that he's trying to get those brownie points. He's trying to get them points from me. He said Khalil Shakir is way more than he said. We see him as way more than what he's been. He's a focal point of our receiving room. Okay, cool. He said we can see him on the outside. We can see Keon, by virtue of that, what that means to me is you're not taking Jay Moore off the field for Keon Coleman. Khalil Shakir is not coming off the field. So that means there's a spot that's opening up. There's that slot. Ooh, that slot. And when I'm thinking about Keon Coleman and what he does versus I'm looking at Gabe Davis even. And you see 6'2", 6'4", 210, 215. Ooh, we got another one. Not the same player. Not even close. Gabe Davis, even though he wasn't that fast, ran a 4.54, whatever the case may be. Keon Coleman Pro Day ran a 4.57. They play the game very differently. Keon Coleman is, I think, who was I talking to? Was it Dorothy? Who said that a technician and possession receiver were the same. And whereas neither one of them is a technician, Keon Coleman's more the possession receiver. He's more of the guy that you can look at in the 7 to 8 yard range, and he'll probably catch the ball over the middle, bounce off somebody, maybe turn up the field and get busy. Whereas Gabe Davis is, I'm going to run straight down the field and try to get under a ball and take it wherever I can. Mm-hmm. I think this ties in. And when I saw your thumbnail last night, I was excited to talk about this because I do see why Joe Brady is so adamant. I mean, even though he said, Keon has to take care of the stuff off the field, we got a plan for him. We got basically a mentor for him. Mm-hmm. We got a coach that's working with him on his routes. His routes don't look that great. I'm not going to hold you there. But we didn't bring him in here to be a route runner. We brought him in here to be a big body, an athlete that can catch the ball and maybe make something out of nothing. And I think that if you put him in different positions, if you get him off that X, you get him into the slide, the what do they call it, the seam Z, if you will. If you get him into the big slot, power slot, he plays the game like a power forward. Evident by the Seattle Seahawks game. Evident by what he did in Baltimore this past season. That was still Keon Coleman.
Right.
He can do that, but you got to put him in a position to do that, not cookie cutter him into a position that he's not equipped to be in. I know people are going to look at Key. What are you smoking? Keon's trash. He's washed. He's 22 years old. He's not washed. He's not trash. We still got him for another year after this.
Yep.
Let's make this happen. Let's make it happen. I believe in him. I believe in him. If he believes that he can get the meetings on time, trust me, Keon, if you're watching, 42-year-old me, I can't get anywhere on time either, but you have to. You got a lot of money riding on yourself.
Okay. Keon Coleman, as we all know, year one, 57 targets, 29 catches, 556 yards, 4 touchdowns. Year two, 59 targets, 38 catches, 404 yards, 4 touchdowns. Okay. I want to give you some numbers here. In 1996, 58 targets, 35 catches, 520 yards, 4 touchdowns.
I know who that is.
1997. 104 targets, 60 catches, 936 yards, 8 touchdowns. Okay. I'm going to give you some more stats before I get to that, before I get to who these people are. Okay. Let's see. 2017, 94 targets, 62 catches, 869 yards, 5 touchdowns. 2018, 55 targets, 40 catches, 566 yards, 6 touchdowns. Okay. And lastly, 2010, 39 targets, 22 catches, 283 yards, 2 touchdowns. 2011, 70 targets, 32 catches, 551 yards, 4 touchdowns. Now, the first receiver, Terrell Owens. Second receiver, Cooper Kupp. Third receiver, Demaryius Thomas. Okay? All of these receivers have something quite very much so in common. Excuse my English. It's terrible in saying that whole phrase there.
Okay.
It's very closely related to Keon Coleman's performance in his first 2 years. But now let me take you through year 3 for all these guys. Okay. So Demaryius Thomas in 2012 played in 16 games, 143 targets, 94 catches, 1,434 yards, 10 touchdowns. All right. Demaryius Thomas. Now, Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp in 2019, 134 targets, 94 catches, 1,161 yards, 10 touchdowns. Let's take you back to the first receiver I mentioned. Who is it?
Terrell Owens.
Terrell Owens, 1998. Started 10 games, played in 16, 104 targets, 67 catches, 1,097 yards, 14 touchdowns. This is still in an era where passing the ball wasn't the main focal point of teams. There were a lot of good running backs back in that day. Teams just started to focus on wide receivers because of guys like T.O. at that point in time. Okay? all three of these receivers are considered to be one of the best, if not the best, of their eras. Okay? All three of these receivers had a year 3 breakout. You know who else had a year 3 breakout? Tyreek Hill. There's a guy on the Bills who had a year 3 breakout. You know who that is? Khalil Shakir. Year 3 breakout. Okay? So for everybody that's trying to have a conversation about Keon Coleman being a bust, part of the reason that we need to give him a break, and this is me going through the science and going through the facts and looking at the trends and the probabilities and all that kind of stuff, and really figuring we've got to give Keon Coleman this season to see whether or not he can do it. Because in the span of all of these years since, the Terrell Owenses of the world, and even before him, there have been multiple receivers that I haven't named that are all on this list. I can name more if you want. Devontae Adams was another guy. Roddy White was another guy. DeAndre Hopkins, even though he had he was good early on, he was another guy. Alshon Jeffrey had a year 3 breakout. Christian Kirk did. Marquise Brown did. Brandon Ayuk, who everybody seems to love, did. Deebo Samuel did. Steve Smith Sr. did. Like, the list goes on and on and on, right? And when these guys, all of these guys, when they first came on, nobody knew who Devontae Adams was.
From Fresno State?
Because Jordy Nelson was still, Greg Jennings was still on the team at that point. Greg Jennings was the number 1 receiver. I think Jordy Nelson was, aging out and then ended up leaving a year before he wanted to. But nobody was talking about Devontae Adams.
I just got to say right now, Sankey gets on my nerves. I know he said, I changed my stance. Hamlin's the bust. We know how you feel about Devontae. Oh, my God. He makes me laugh. Y'all don't understand.
Yeah.
If you're not Discord, you don't know what we're talking about. But
all the more reason to get in there so you can see what the fuss is
Discord
all about.
Discord is crazy. I'm telling you. If you're not in there, get in there. I'm telling you. Get in there.
Yep. But yeah, I think the evidence is undeniable that we have to at least give Keon Coleman this season to see whether or not he can do it. I think he is going to be in a better position from the standpoint of the routes he's being asked to run, the responsibilities he has within the scheme to get better looks, to have more opportunities to make plays, and maybe play more snaps. I mean, it is possible that he could end up splitting reps throughout the entire season with Josh Palmer. It doesn't have to be one way or the other. Excuse me. So, looking at all this, it kind of gave me a reason to be optimistic on the outlook for Keon at the very least, right? If he doesn't do it, he doesn't do it. It's a 2nd round draft pick. It sucks. It also goes on Brandon Beane's record of another 2nd round pick to not have worked out here.
Yeah.
But I just think there's too many guys that are on this list. Jackson Smith and Jigba's another guy. Drake London's another guy. Cedric Tillman's another guy. Quentin Johnston. I think everybody was looking for Quentin Johnston in fantasy last year with his breakout. So, I remember talking about Quentin Johnston on this show in his first couple of years. Just talking about, like, man, that's a guy that I wanted in the draft. I'm kind of glad we didn't get him because it did. You know what I mean? He seems like a one-dimensional player. He's only running deep and blah, 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 blah. And look at what happened. They got a different coach in there that figured out how to use him, that figured out how to put him in a better position to succeed, and it worked out.
Yeah. I mean, the knock on this, I think this could make or break Joe Brady, because the notion with Brady is that he can't develop people. And if Keon Coleman goes through 3-4 years in Buffalo and doesn't get any better, then that's another notch, especially when that's your guy. You've gone on the record and said that you wanted him, this is the guy that you asked for. You pounded it. You would have stood on the table for this guy. So this is on you to make him better. This is on you to do everything you can to see it through, especially when you're an OC. Now you're a head coach. You gotta get Carmichael to believe in him, and whoever the wide receiver coach is to believe in him as much as you do. Which is funny because I looked it up and I said, okay, there's different levels of comparisons here. Now we got the league source, we got, just general eyeballs, but the league source actually compared them to Keenan Allen and Mike Evans, skill set wise. And these are NFL insiders.
Mm-hmm.
So
guys who do this for a living.
guys that does that. Let's see, measurables based. I got Corn Robinson, Marquez Callaway. Not as exciting, but still players in the league. And based on how he plays, Allen Robinson, Michael Pittman, who just scored a lot of money, and Cortland Sutton, who people were like, "Oh, can we get that? We have it." Once again, but we want that because we can't work with this. That could be that if we gave this. I'm not going to get into these conundrums here, but you know what I mean. I mean, you can shoot me down however you want. I'm right, because even when I'm wrong, I'm still right.
You got to explain that. Okay.
Because when I'm right, I'm right. But when I'm wrong, I could have been right. But that makes me right. I'm always right.
Because there was a possibility.
There's a possibility of being wrong.
Okay.
But I was right.
All right.
So I mean, we got to stop. And this is my biggest thing when we're talking about why didn't we get that guy? Why didn't we get this guy? Why didn't we get that guy? What do we have on the team? And the thing is, like, what is it that we have? Because when they leave, remember Chris Hogan, Mr. What was it? 7-Eleven.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to New England and like, who's this lacrosse player from Monmouth? He's a wide receiver. He's mossing cats on the like. But in Buffalo's like, oh, he's a nice player because he's a good story.
Right.
Over there, he's getting busy. Mac Hollins. He's in Buffalo. Okay, he got busier, but he's older. But he goes to New England and he does the same thing here. He's still doing this and he's still doing that. You know, it's like, but for $400,000, you could have just had that. We could have it right now. And he could be working with Keon Coleman. They could be barefoot buddies together. But alas, you have no role model unless you bring back Brandon Cooks, which probably will happen.
Yeah, maybe later in the season. Yeah.
Definitely after the draft. But you know, and I mean, it's just like that's why I get so tired when people say, "Well, we could have had that, we could have did that," but we don't know what we have. It's like play with the toys that you got before you look at what's at Toys R Us or KB Toys for those older cats. You know, I mean, it's just frustrating when you give up on somebody with certain tools because you don't know how to use them.
So yeah, Steve. Stevie Johnson is really working with Keon. That's been documented. And I like the correlation between the two. Both of them were basketball guys. If there's a receiver that can, show Keon how to use his body and his basketball skills to, be one of those unorthodox receivers, because that was one of those things with Stevie. I think Stevie had a lot of the same stuff where, well, he's not really a separator. Well, okay, well, he's probably better served in the slot. Well, yeah, he kind of destroyed the best corner in the game several times when they played each other.
Every time.
Right.
Every time.
And that wasn't a fluke. That was by design. Like, the guy was just so unorthodox that Darrelle Revis didn't know what to expect. Right. I think Keon Coleman can add, if he doesn't already have, some of what Stevie Johnson has done in his career, just from a standpoint of, unorthodox route running and using, either additional moves or shortening, other moves in order to, create separation that wouldn't otherwise. Because here's the thing. I think from a traditional, you run this route, you take 3 steps in your break to cut in whatever direction, or if you're running a post or something like that, like the sharpness of your route should look like this. He's not going to fit into that mold of the traditional, this is how many steps you take, and when you cut at this line. Right. Like, he's not
like the complete opposite of Dalton Kincaid. And that's what I'm worried about, honestly. And it's going to sound like a backhanded compliment or a jab, but I don't know if Josh Allen could play with a Stevie Johnson. Yeah, I don't know the timing deal and not knowing where he's going to be when he's supposed to be there. I don't know if he could, if that's his thing. Would he come off that read too fast? Would he trust him to be to a spot before he gets there? Would he throw it? And that's I want Stevie to show Keon everything he knows. I want Chad Johnson to show Chad Ochocinco to show him everything he knows. I want Eric Moses to show him everything he knows. I want Khalil Shakir to show him everything he knows. I want everybody that can show Keon everything they know on the field. And everybody, well, what about whatever? We didn't want Stephon Diggs in the locker room because I wouldn't mind if Keon Coleman got some of Stephon Diggs in his bag as well. But I mean, the moment's passed. Mac Hollins, he learned how to block. Whatever the case may be, if you're open to learning from anybody, even players that weren't really great but know how to play the game, like a Ryan Fitzpatrick in a wide receiver room.
Mm-hmm.
If you really believe in this guy like that, bring in somebody that's on the downslope, dirt cheap. I just need you, Anquan Bolden, to work with this guy. If we trade him, you can be released. We promise. Right. But yeah, that's the type of commitment to even a Kyer Elam that they didn't make, to now a Keon Coleman that they're making the same mistakes, even though McDermott's going and we got Joe Brady. Those are the commitments that you need when you take a swing that big on a player that's that raw. Right. You have to be willing to sacrifice some things early on, not now.
Yeah, I think that's why the DJ Moore move, and I want to touch back on that on the reaction from the front office folk that reacted to that trade in a second. But I think that's why the DJ Moore move was as jarring as it was, because the guy that you want as your number one receiver is a guy that can impart to all of the receivers from a standpoint of, this is what I do to create separation. This is what I do, against the number one corner. This is what I do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want them to be learning from a guy that is getting a yard and a half of separation consistently, that is, having a high success rate on his routes, that is having a high catch percentage, for his career. Like, that's the guy that I want in the building all the time. And for Keon Coleman, DJ Moore, like, what is DJ Moore going to teach Keon Coleman that Keon hasn't already heard from several other receivers? That's why I like Stevie Johnson working with him the most, because that's something different that Keon wouldn't have heard from really anybody but Stevie. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? There aren't very many basketball guys. I mean, maybe Alshon Jeffrey, maybe Devontae Adams, but aside from those guys, which Keon may not have access to, right, Stevie is the next best thing, So that's why I really love, that he's worked with him this offseason. I really cannot wait to see, what dividends it pays. But man, Keon for Keon and Stevie was 6'2", and athletic, but Stevie was more, separator, get the ball, run after catch, and but Keon has the potential to be big physical with the run after catch combined with it, because he's 6'3", almost 6'4", and put on the pounds that he put on. You know what I'm saying? So it's like kind of having a bigger, more physical Stevie. Like, heck yeah, I would take that. I think everybody in this building, everybody in the, in this, every fan of this franchise would absolutely take a bigger, more physical Stevie Johnson in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I think Stevie Johnson's claim to fame was he was the Isaiah Thomas. He was the Pistol Pete. He was the pioneer of the way he ran routes. It was like, no, this isn't supposed to work. Revis is like, you're supposed to go straight. And then he's like, no, I'm not. I'm supposed to get to the spot. Stop me. It's like, I don't know, because I don't know, when you break the rules of the logic of something, people don't know how to react. And that's what Stevie Johnson was. So if it takes him to get Keon to break the logic of whatever the case may be or whatever, do it. Because we know he's physical enough. You gotta get his hands on the ball, gotta turn it up and do his thing. But you gotta get the reps. If it comes to getting the ball in his hands early on, even if it's a slot screen, even if it's a 2-yard gain where he catches and gets hit, maybe that's his motivation. Now I'm locked in, like Josh Allen. Like guys in the NBA, they slump. What do? Just foul him. Get him to the free throw line. He just had to see the ball. It's a real thing. Yep. Once I see that ball going out in the hoop, I'm sorry, Albert's a big dude, so I know he played football. I wasn't a football player, so I can tell you it's basketball. You get the ball in the hoop, now I'm locked in. I'm a part of this thing, but before that, it's too much going through your head. And you said you want to go back to
yeah. So did you hear all of the reaction from front office guys and other other NFL execs about the DJ Moore trade? Mm-mm. So I don't have the direct quotes.
That's fine,
right? But basically, the sentiment was they gave up too much for DJ Moore. There was an NFL exec that thought that it didn't make sense to give up a second round pick when the Bears were already going to release the guy. And I think a lot of what they were saying was a lot of the same stuff that you and I were saying on this show when it first happened, even amongst all of the the praise for the move and the excitement and all that kind of stuff. I think this is This is exactly why we were saying what we were saying, because if you approach it from a, inside the NFL mindset, and even I had heard that the Bears were getting ready to release DJ Moore.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And this is well before free agency started. This is at least 2 weeks before free agency started that we're hearing DJ Moore is probably going to get released.
Yeah, we're phasing them out. They got Luther Burden and they just re-signed Caleb, which they don't get along. So that tells you all you need to know.
Yep. So hearing other NFL executives and other people in the league look at this move and say a lot of the same stuff that we've been saying, the only thing that I would want to know from this is what teams were those guys from? You know what I mean? Because from what it sounds like, those guys might be from better teams because they're used to looking at moves like this as probably not the best use of your assets, right? Now, I did check out the Shout podcast, Pat Moran. Is it Pat?
No, Pat Moran, that's Talking Buffalo.
I'm sorry.
Shout is Dan Fates, Mike Catalana, and Jennifer Cottrell.
No,
I'm sorry. That's not Shout. Shout is Ryan Talbot and Perino.
Matt Perino. That's who it was. Okay, sorry. I checked them out. And I think one of them, was mentioning, and I forgot who posted this in our Discord chat. It's really the only reason I checked it out in the first place. But one of them was saying, the thought was the Bills probably gave up a second because it would have been harder to sign DJ Moore when Alec Pierce got $30 million, and DJ Moore would have been considered the best receiver in the free agent pool. You probably would have had to have paid more than $30 million.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to that, I would say, K Saras or frickin' Ra.
Right.
Because if you either way, I wouldn't have wanted to give up what was necessary to get DJ Moore. I don't think for where he is in his career after the last 2 seasons that he had, I wouldn't have an expectation of him to come here and blow up. I think all of the excitement surrounded around DJ Moore, and I'm sorry if we're like back on this conversation and people are rolling their eyes, but I didn't bring this back up. I'm just reacting to it.
Right.
But I think with all of that stuff considered, I wouldn't be in a place where I'm like, oh yeah, he's gonna come here, he's gonna be great. You know what I mean? Like, again, from a purely scientific standpoint, what does the information tell me? The information tells me he's on a decline, right? Where's his age? His age is on a decline. I don't care how healthy he's been. His body is on a decline. His age, because of where he's at, forces his body to be on a decline. He's not in his prime.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can say that for sure, right? If that's the case, he's not a second rounder. I can't remember the names of the other guys that were traded, but we had other receivers that had a name that were traded for what, 4th round pick, 5th round pick, something like that. I think one of the guys went for a 6th. That was a name.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, I think all of this really just puts a rubber stamp on, our position. I'm glad that it was, NFL execs that we got this information from, because for whatever criticisms we're getting on the show because of our opinion on the DJ Moore move, what do people say? Well, I trust the front office. Those guys have the job. I don't have the job, so I trust their judgment. Okay, well, here's other guys who have jobs in the NFL the same way Brandon Beane does, the same way the scouts in the front office do, that are saying something completely different than what you think is the right move.
Right.
So it's not just us anymore having a stance on, the move. I can't even say opinion because there's research that we've done to support the thought process. But
yeah. I mean, while you're talking, I was thinking Keon Coleman, he needs Stevie Johnson, he needs Eric Moles, he needs Ocho Cinco, even Shannon Sharp, you want to get involved. But I can tell you really what it boils down to is he needs the Maris. He needs some Reese tea.
He needs Coach D.
He needs that Reese tea. Special blend. Because you see, the coaches are over in Arizona, they're fraternizing, they're having beers on Sean McVay. We can get Keon Coleman teas on Coach D. Now, we want to be healthy. We want it to be delicious, and we want them to see all the doubters eat crow. We want that. But only you, sir, can allow this to happen. Get this man a case of Reese tea. And while you're at it, why don't you tell everybody else? You're not doing individual anymore. That time has passed. It's time to get you the real deal. It's time to commit. It's time to get yourself a case. Not one, not two, maybe even 3 cases, because you're going to have friends over. You're going to have friends over. Season's about to start.
Especially for Easter.
Easter goes good with the candy ham.
Oh, yeah.
WNBA season coming up. You're going to need the case. We're not leaving. Click the link in the description below. Let them know that we sent you there. Let them know that you want the stuff. Let them know that you want the Keon Coleman elixir. Because when he gets that 750, I'm going to tell him who did it. Coach D. And watch those cans come flying off the shelf. It's not a game. I hope you guys are ready. Let them know PPP sent you.
All right, we got to get to the close. So here comes the music. All right, hopefully that's good enough. I'm playing it through a different channel here, so hopefully it's not warbling us, and hopefully you can hear us and the music clear enough. This Bean Island stuff, boy, I tell you. All right, listen, if you have not done so already, I don't know how many likes we got right now. Where are we at with likes? We are at, you see it, 3.
They ain't like
3
the show.
likes? Oh, yeah, they really did
Hated
not like the show. Like, here I am talking good on Keon Coleman, and nobody liked the show. Like, can
That's
we get
why.
those likes up?
They took him away.
I gotta start stopping the show in the middle of what we doing to get those likes up. I gotta figure something out there. Listen, thumbs up, please. It don't cost you nothing, right? And it helps us out immensely. You know, seriously though, in all seriousness, I really appreciate everybody that tuned in, everybody that's rocking with us right now. Big things coming, obviously, and that's the expectation that should be had here at the Post Podium Podcast, because we don't believe in anything else. We got to make big moves. We got to keep making big moves, and we got to keep growing this thing. And we can't do that without you. So, give us a thumbs. Let us know you like this. Let YouTube know. Let every platform that you're on know that you like this content. Right? It's free, and it helps us out immensely. With that being said, if you want to do something that benefits you as well, you can hit that subscribe button. What that does is that puts us on your homepage so that you don't have to scroll and find us by accident. You don't have to search for us. You don't even have to put any hashtags in or anything like that. We're just there for you whenever you need us. Okay. The other thing that you can do that's solely for you, that benefits you the absolute most, is hitting that bell, making that thing so that you can get notifications when we send notifications. Like, I just put the original Post Podium Podcast logo hoodies and hats on the merch page. All right. If you go on our YouTube channel and you scroll to the left and you see that store button, you hit store, it'll take you right to our merch page. You can go in there. Those hoodies are dope, and they're embroidered. It's not even screen print. It's not like you can touch it. It's got the little ripple, and you feel the PPP on your chest.
Scroll to the right.
No pause.
Crisscross. No. Everybody buy them shirts.
And listen, for our members, you get a 20% discount off of everything in the store. I think the price of the membership is what, $1.99 a month? So for $1.99, you get 20% off of everything in the merch store. So if you want to support, or if you just want to get the merch, it benefits you the absolute most to jump to our page, hit that join button, and then right from there, get to the store, get you some PPP merch. We got other lines that we just started. We got our Savage Truth line. We have our Be Unbelievable line. That's I think I just put a hoodie out there for that one. And we got other
I got that B line.
Okay, all right. Key's got to get out of here. Thank you very much for tuning in. This has been the Post Podium Podcast, home of the All Truth, No Sodium Takes. I have been your co-host, Aramis.
I bet that boy is late. All right, see y'all later, y'all.